All right, let's just jump right in, shall we? We're talking about a technology that could, and I mean could, fundamentally change how we feed the entire planet. It's a technology that's just filled with incredible promise, but it's also facing some really serious challenges. Today, we're breaking down this state of cultivated meat.
I mean, really, stop and think about that for a second. What if you could have the exact same chicken or beef or seafood that you love, but it was produced in a completely new way? It sounds a little bit like science fiction, doesn't it? But, well, it's happening right now.
And this is what we're talking about. This right here is the end product. And it looks like meat, it tastes like meat, because, well, it is meat, right down to the cellular level. But its journey from just a concept to what's on this plate is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
So the big question is, how on earth is this even possible? Let's really break down the core concept and, probably more importantly, why it matters so much.
You know, the core idea is actually pretty simple, which is what makes it so brilliant. You start with just a small, totally harmless sample of animal cells. It could be from a chicken, a cow, a fish, you name it. And then you feed those cells a nutrient-rich broth. Think vitamins, sugars, proteins. These cells then grow and multiply inside something called a cultivator, which is kind of like a big, shiny stainless steel fermenter you'd see in a brewery. And over just a few weeks, they form real muscle and fat tissue. And the result? It's genuine meat, just made in a much cleaner, way more controlled environment.
Okay, so why does any of this matter? Well, a huge part of the answer comes down to this number. A landmark report from the World Bank ranked the shift to alternative proteins as the second most effective way to cut emissions from our food system. We're talking a potential reduction of 6.1 gigatons of CO2 equivalent per year. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is more than the entire emissions of the United States. It's an absolute potential game changer for the climate.
And the really cool part? This isn't just some sci-fi concept stuck in a lab anymore. In just the last year, we've seen some incredible, tangible breakthroughs that are bringing cultivated meat from theory straight into reality.
And what's really interesting here is that this isn't some niche idea that's just confined to one part of the world. Just take a look at this chart. It's pretty clear this is a global movement. I mean, sure, the US, Israel, and the UK are leading the pack, but you've got these innovation hubs popping up all over Europe, Asia, even South America. Innovators everywhere are racing to crack this code. And all that global effort, well, it's actually leading to real products on real markets. Singapore was the trailblazer, the first one out of the gate. Then the US gave its first approvals back in 2023. And just this past year, cultivated quail actually made its debut in Hong Kong. And Israel is right on the verge of approving the world's first cultivated beef steaks. So that path to the dinner plate, it is getting clearer and clearer.
We're also seeing the products themselves get way more sophisticated and, accessible. For the very first time ever, you could literally walk into a butcher shop in Singapore and buy a product with cultivated chicken right there off the shelf. And in some really high-end restaurants, chefs are now serving up things like cultivated quail parfait. This is all about giving consumers real, delicious choices.
And that momentum just keeps on building. I mean, just recently, Believer Meats became the latest company to get the green light from the US FDA. And as their CEO put it, this isn't just about one company's progress, it's a bold leap forward for the entire industry's vision.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second and be realistic here. The road for any kind of transformative technology is always bumpy. And right now, cultivated meat is facing some pretty significant headwinds that are really testing the industry's resilience. So a huge piece of the puzzle here is funding. And as this chart shows, things have gotten tricky. After this big boom period between 2020 and 2022, investment has slowed down, and I mean dramatically. We went from a peak of nearly $500 million to just $139 million in 2024. That's a massive drop, and it puts this immense pressure on companies that are trying to scale up. And if you want to talk about scale, this slide really puts the challenge into perspective. The entire cultivated meat industry has raised about $3 billion in its entire history. Now, for comparison, the electric vehicle sector attracted more than that, $3.3 billion in just the first 9 months of 2024 alone. It just shows you how much more capital is really needed to build this new food system. And then on top of the money issues, you've got this political tug-of-war happening. While federal agencies like the FDA and USDA are creating pathways to market, some states are actively trying to slam the door shut. In 2024, Florida and Alabama both passed laws that actually ban the production and sale of cultivated meat. It creates this really confusing and contradictory landscape.
So, with all these pressures, it's honestly not a huge surprise that some companies have had to pause their plans or even close down completely.
But you know what? This is a predictable, if pretty difficult, part of any new industry story. Consolidation and setbacks, they happen. The real question is how the sector adapts.
So how is the industry adapting? Because despite all these challenges, it is not standing still. It's getting smarter, it's getting more collaborative, and it's laying the groundwork for the next chapter.
What's happening now is pretty fascinating. We're seeing this whole sophisticated ecosystem pop up. Companies are no longer trying to do everything themselves. Instead, you have firms specializing in very specific areas, like developing the perfect cell lines, or designing super efficient bioreactors, or creating affordable animal-free growth media. This specialization is absolutely key to driving down costs and solving those big technical hurdles.
And this new ecosystem approach leads to some really smart strategies. You've got companies partnering with AI firms to optimize their processes, they're co-developing custom equipment with engineering giants, and they're using shared innovation hubs to test and scale their technology without having to build everything from scratch. It's all about working smarter, not just harder.
And you want to know who's still betting on this? Take a look at who's still at the table. JBS, Tyson, Cargill, Nestle. We're talking some of the biggest food companies in the entire world. They've invested, they've formed partnerships, and they are deep in R&D. Their continued presence, that signals a powerful long-term belief in the potential of this technology. They're definitely playing the long game here.
And this brings us to maybe the most tangible sign of progress, the thing you can really point to. Believer Meat's just completed construction on the world's largest cultivated meat factory. Its potential annual production capacity, 12,000 tons. That is a massive leap forward, and it proves that producing at an industrial scale is no longer just a blueprint, it's actually becoming a reality.
So where does that leave us? The science is real and the potential is just enormous. But the financial, the political, and the technical hurdles are just as real. All the pieces are in play. The question for this next chapter is whether this incredible innovation becomes just a footnote in history, or if it really is the future of how we